Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission.
I immediately think about, and I wrote about this in my book, The Mind of a Missionary, the Holmes and Rahe stress test. Okay, and this is a classic, test that 1967 psychiatrist Thomas Holmes Richard Rahe came up with, and it was a scale including a lot of different difficulties or things that people struggled with, including death of a spouse, divorce, marital separation, jail term, death of a close family member. Not all of those line up with the cross-cultural missionary necessarily. But later, let's see, that was 1999, doctors Lois and Larry Dodds kind of recreated the Holmes and Rahe stress test with the missionary in mind. And the initial scale said this: if you experience one or many of these life circumstances that are very difficult, the scale, it goes up to 200. It could land you in a hospital. It could have long-term effects physically, mentally for you. Later, this Holmes and Rahe stress test that was created more tailored for missionaries found that most missionaries in their first terms experience a whopping 900 on that scale, okay? Regular career missionaries experience life at a 600 on that stress scale, the Holmes and Rahe stress scale. Remember now, 200 was the peak where it could land you in the hospital with serious long-term physical or mental effects. I say all that because you're talking about honesty. There are some real difficult situations. How do you experience joy or breakthrough on a daily basis? How do you overcome those you're sitting in Phnom Penh, no power, you're going to bed tonight without any electricity and it's smoking hot, right? Not tonight because you're obviously on the internet. But sure. How do you deal with those things that life throws you a curveball and this is not what you expected? How do you overcome those stress spots?
Well, first I would say, don't make it an expectation that joy has to be daily, because then you'll be full of guilt.
Wow. Okay. There's some honesty for you. I can appreciate that.
She's still doing that.
I understand the word incessant honesty now. And that's a good point. Yeah. How could you be this ever glowing beam of light everywhere you go around Phnom Penh, right? So can you elaborate on that thought, Elizabeth?
Well, just that I think that there are seasons, and particularly in Southeast Asia, every hot season is a difficult one for me. And that doesn't mean there isn't any joy, but it means that I also know that I'll get through that season and it'll be easier again. For me, finding joy often comes in the little things, but I have to actually pay attention. So I'm really practicing attentiveness and paying attention to the little things, the beautiful things, nature. There's not a lot of nature in Phnom Penh, but when I'm paying attention to it, paying attention to the aspects of relationships that give me joy, that is very helpful. And I guess another thing would be for me that when I close myself off to God, which I have done, I am not happy. And, we close ourselves off to God for different reasons. And yes, even missionaries do it. But if I can start opening myself up to God again, talking to Him, even if it's not, looking like this perfect quiet time, prayer time, if I can start listening to Him again, even if I'm in a really difficult season, I am so much happier.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big part of it. And it doesn't even have to look, again, like that perfect, like journaling a certain amount of time or reading or praying a certain amount of time, but just staying in conversation with Him throughout the days. So.
Sounds like you've been reading Ann Voskamp's 1,000 Gifts. Finding little joy.
I didn't know that's I'll have to.
that is my wife. We've been living overseas for 23 years now, and I completely understand. There's this funny face that you need to feel like you give people back home to let them know that everything is well and keep sending that support, right? But the reality is, hey, we're human, and there are difficulties in crossing cultural, geographic, linguistic barriers. So I appreciate your honesty in that.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.